Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Mats Almlof. So, Mats, he's a carpenter joiner, and he's dedicated to restoring historic structures. He uses sustainable and traditional techniques. He's really into all the traditional tools and techniques, which is fascinating, and hopefully we'll get onto that in today's episode. So Mats lives with his family on their 18th century farm in Nordenberg in Sweden, and he's actually meticulously restored their home and also maintained self-sufficiency through the use of renewable solar energy. Now, beyond his personal restoration projects, Mats formerly taught at Yampley Open Air Museum, which is it's equivalent of the World and Downland Museum in the UK. And he's led international workshops on timber framing and wood conservation. And he's also an active member of ICOMOS and also specializes in courses, consultations on heritage restoration. And as I said before, he's very much into the traditional crafts, which is what we'll be hopefully talking about today. So I really hope you enjoy today's episode, and I think it's going to be a really good one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mats Almlof to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So
good to see you again, Vinny.
Yeah, it's good to see you. And so let's start with your the early days and how you got into your trade.
Woodworking has always been interesting to me since first grade, because I used to build these small airplanes. It's like model flights. I don't know what it's called in English. And for, let's say, 1989 or something, I got in contact with the traditional crafts, working with hand tools, linseed paint, because that's also a interesting subject for me. And so since 89 or 90, I've been working on and off with this traditional craft. I always come back to working with hand tools and build things and restore things. So and for the last 15 years, I've been full-time working with wood.
Yeah. And why did you get involved in the older joinery, traditional crafts, rather than the new? Did that not interest you, going into sort of the new modern type of joinery?
No, because I mean it's not very good, the things we build today.
But did you know that? You didn't know that then?
No, but
when you're younger.
I read so much about buildings even before I started to work with it. As I said, 1990 or 89, and I was impressed by the old techniques and the old buildings still standing. And even then, in the 80s, we built some of the worst houses a human can do. And because it's fast-grown wood, and they're cheating, cutting corners, and it's all about the money. And so I saw all these buildings when I was out traveling in the world, and I mean, it was 1,000 years old buildings still standing, and always looked new. All the joinery and the facade and the exterior and the interior, everything was still as new, but it was it had a patina of course, in everything. And working with hand tools, I had I went to a workshop with Jack Solomon in the States, and during that workshop, we were doing timber framing and actually did the whole building in 7 days. And it was hand tools only. And it was a relief to be able to just listen to this chopping and drilling. I think it's called boring, when you're boring for pegholes.
Yes.
For example.
Yeah.
And he wanted it to have like this, because when it's quiet and everyone is chopping like this, it's very easy to get everyone's attention. It's just to hey everybody, and everybody, 20 people, listen up, instead of having these ear cups and machines. I mean, to get the attention of 20 people with all this, it's going to take 15 minutes. So that was also a revelation for me. It was good in more than one way. Just what and it was beautiful to work with sharp tools, and you have fresh wood. And the smell from we were working with pine for this. From that day, it was only hand tools for me.
So how old were you then when you went on that course?
Wow.
Approximately.
Let's say I was. I have to count. 35.
35.
Yeah.
So up until that point, when you first started in the industry, did you start with hand tools? Did you, or is that how you started? Was it predominantly hand tools?
Yes, it was. Yes, and also before that I took a long education in building log buildings, and it's the same thing. We just did it with hand tools. I mean, you can use a chainsaw to make everything faster, of course, but it's not very much other tools you can have than a chainsaw to make it speedier, to get the joints and everything ready. But if you use a handsaw and an axe and maybe a chisel, I think actually the work is faster, because everything with a chainsaw, you have to tighten the chain, you have to fill in petrol and oil, and something happens with it. So I mean, I actually wonder how much time you're able to save by using machines like chainsaw, for example, when you build log buildings.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually, because all these, and also, I mean, if you work with power tools connected to the grid, I mean, everything to get everything running, with the cables, extension cables, and changing these saw blades all the time. I actually think it's slower to work with if you're building a log building house, or if you do a timber frame. I actually think it's faster when you have the skills. It's faster to actually to build just with hand tools.
So were you working, when you sort of first got into this and you'd done your initial training, were you working for a company, or were you working by yourself?
I was working by myself.
Were you? So you literally went from learning the craft, and then you, so how did you earn money?
That's interesting. My wife is a nurse, and she makes good money. So no, but it's the thing is to run a business is with the low costs. It's everything. I mean, if you're going to buy a car, a fancy car, for example, and new tools, and I mean, it's with the low costs that you can get rich, or you can get the business running. Actually,
so
I'm very good at saving money.
So Jenny was working as a nurse. You were offering to sort of maybe repair people's windows or build windows and doors and that type of thing. That there was enough local work in the area for you to keep busy.
We weren't that many into the craft then. If you see now, for example, the growth of the market for traditional craft is just rising, sky rising. But then it was not very many people working with old buildings, restoring, and the ones who did it, they were not very skilled.
Right.
So I got my market, because for me the customer is really, really important. So for example, if I did something wrong, I have to do that on my spare time. But I know other people, they charged to make your mistakes right, but I couldn't do that. And I was very, very honest with the customers, and when I left them, they were supposed to be really, really happy. And through that, I got more jobs from friends of them. So I've always been happy with the work. I'm a happy guy. Lots of laughs, which is helping in many ways. So I mean, if you do things good, if you correct your mistakes and don't argue with the customer, I mean, you that's the best marketing you can have.
Yeah, it seemed like you were self-taught, a lot of your work, self-taught. Yeah. But just out of interest, did you have one particular person, mentor, trainer in those early days that you thought, oh, this guy is good, I want to work as he does? Was there anybody when you were training?
Yes, there was a man called Stig Nilsson, which is he's been in the forest since I think it was under the machine making shingles. His daddy was making wooden shingles in pine, and he was under the machine collecting the shingles. I mean,
and this is for roofing, isn't it? Shingles for roofing and the sides of buildings.
Yeah. So he's been working with wood all his life, and he's a very humble man. He's really good, and he's really interested in the history and the buildings from other places around the world. And he was also used by he was hired by organizations outside Sweden as an expert, which is quite unusual. I mean, in Norway, for example, they have a lot of skills and a lot of experience, but they took him as an advisor and a consultant for their building.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started to work with him more like because I'm also very much into this to spread my knowledge and joy. So I engage him very much. Also because I got into this workshopping, teaching schools, students. So I used him to as a teacher for them. So we started to work like that, I was also in the forest with him, learning about the trees, looking at trees and trying to select the right tree just by looking at it, because
Yeah.
I mean it's not easy to watch a pine and to get the information just by looking at it. Is this going to be a lot of heartwood? How old is it?
Yeah.
Knocking on it.
So he sounded like a big influence, a really big influence in your life. And out of interest, is he still alive?
Yeah, he is. And he stopped working, and because he's something like 75 or 78 or something, but he's still going strong. But he's not very active today. So for me, it's really important to how shall I say, to use him still, because when old people just be sitting at home, retired, I mean it's going fast downwards. So I'm using him still a couple of times a year to have lectures, video lectures, and hands-on lectures. So I mean, I know he's really happy with that, and it's always this about how much do you want for this? Do we have any fee? No.
Yeah.
No. So he's the best guy. So I mean, we have had contact since 25 years or something. So it was quite early for me. To know him. He's one of these guys. He was hired to go to Tanzania and to learn them to make a log house, because they have the forest, the wood for it also. And then when he was going to leave, they don't have any tools for this, so he left all his tools for them.
Lovely.
Like that. Yeah. So it's he's the best guy.
So if your paths hadn't have crossed, you may have had a slightly different, path, an outcome, possibly.
Because because it's so much joy. I think it was he who made me getting into teaching, having workshops. Share my knowledge with students from different schools. If I hadn't met him, I would probably just be working hands-on. But I'm not sure. But he inspired me to get into teaching and lecturing.
And this is great. This sort of leads on to my next question, which you've just started speaking about. I'm really interested in from forest to the conversion to then the construction and production of the joinery. And I just feel that the forest side of things doesn't get spoken about enough, and it's just incredibly important. And we've lost so many skills over the years, and that's why we end up with rubbish wood now a lot of the time. And it starts in the forest, doesn't it? And so I'd love to pick your brains on that subject, because I'm really interested in what the process was. And for instance, you don't have to answer this, but I'm just interested in when the person that was a real expert in selecting the type of tree that was really good, they could look at a tree and go, yeah, that's really good, as you just said, just referred to just now, sort of tapping it and looking at it and selecting. Is that where their knowledge possibly would have stopped, or would they have then known how to convert it, and then also would have been involved in the construction phase as well? Or did I suppose it's in the rural areas, they would have to do it all, wouldn't they? But yeah, you take me through it. Let's sort of go back. I don't know, maybe let's go back 200 years in a town in Sweden, northern Sweden. It's known for its, fantastic forests, and somebody's going to go out and be a specialist in selecting the wood. What happens? And yeah, take us through the process.
If you go back 2 centuries, I would say that it was the same until 1960, something like that.
Interesting.
What to
Yeah.
say? Because the forest and the land was owned, and still is owned by a farm, for example, and the father, always men, they knew everything about their wood. Where can I find this particular heartwood pine, which has been growing in a not very nutritious ground, very hard to get the sun, so it's really, really slow grown. He knew that this tree is going to be for the sill, for example, or for something that you really, really need the quality.
Yeah.
And the boy always was with the father in and learned this trade and learned the knowledge to be the same as his father. And then he inherited the knowledge and the forest.
Okay. So can we just track back a little bit for those who are listening to this? What Matt's saying is that the harsher the environment is for a tree, obviously it's going to grow slower. If it grows slower, then the growth rings are closer together. Take us through that, Mats, and then also why that's important, because you said that tree might be selected for making sills. Now, sills are going to have the worst of the weather, so therefore they've got to be the hardiest. But just elaborate a little bit more on that.
Interesting. Wow. It's always about the quality you need. It's always about knowing, as I said, where the trees are, how nutritious the ground.
Yeah.
And the more the tree has to fight for its life.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. It's going to get better and better and better. So
SAS
also,
of the tree world. SAS of the tree world.
yeah. And also, if you look if you take a slice of a pine, for example, you see that from the, what you call it, the center of the core.
The core, yeah.
What you call it?
Marrow.
No,
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyhow, it's really it's not very stable. It's like crust.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like 2 inch in a square, which is really bad. But you can see the growth rings from the beginning is really wide, because then, I mean, it's an old area, and the trees are at the same level. They have a lot of sun, a lot of nutrition, and they're growing quite fast.
Right.
Then after, 15, 20, 25 years, it's going to be harder for it to survive. Yeah. So it's growing slower. And you get these growth rings, which are really, really tight. You can have 25 growth rings on an inch. 1 millimeter.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But then it's starting to be growth rings, which is it's growing faster again. You can see that on this slice because they have cut down some trees to make the trees growing faster. It's always about the money, you know. So you can actually watch the tree. You see, this is planted or it's started to grow this year, and then you can count, and then you know that 50 years later they harvested some of the trees. So it's growing faster again, and then it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter again. The best trees you have, it's the untouched forest for 150 years. And that's really hard to find now. But in the old days, they saved these trees for the next generation and the next generation, because they're going to have some of the best wood we can find. So they saved it, and they didn't harvest anything. So the growth rings from the beginning is really, really, really tight. So, for example, I have a spruce, which is maybe 15 centimeters in diameter, which is 140 years old. That's incredible. I mean, it's almost impossible to count the growth rings. I mean, to measure.
Wow. That's incredible.
Because it's been standing, you know, very tight to other trees. It has really, really been fighting to be able to grow. So that's why you get these small trees, 150 years old. And these are really, really heavy stuff, you know. It's really good stuff to have, as we say, halvklov, which is half a tree, and you put it on the roof like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to stay there for 150 years if you keep the roof clean. You know, that's. I mean, that wood is really hard to find today, also. But another thing with this, how you treat the forest is that today, I would say from 1960s, 70, maybe 70s, there was a lot of speculations in forest, you know. So people from the south, for example, we live 600 kilometers north of Stockholm. We're actually in the center of Sweden, but it's considered to be in the north. But there was people from the capital and the south of Sweden who bought forest of different places in Sweden, in the north. And I mean, they don't have the knowledge. They have just been buying this in pure speculation. They don't have any knowledge about it. So instead of going there, learn about their forest and treasure it, they have these big companies, which is, some of them is government owned. So you leave them at the daycare center to these, take care of this. And these companies, they just harvest. And all the permits or not, even though they're cutting corners somewhere, and they cut down very valuable forest, and they say, whoops, we didn't mean to. Although they have GPS and I mean, they have all the trees on a map in the GPS, you know. So and then they got to check with the mail. So it's, I mean, the knowledge is actually gone in 98% of the cases. The knowledge is gone.
So just going back a little bit, you said they're going to select certain trees for certain things. The knowledge they knew, okay, that tree's had a really hard life. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be great for that purpose. That one has seen a lot of sunlight, so it's a fast growing. However, it's big enough to harvest. What would they be using? A tree that is fast grown, would it more likely be internal joinery?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like paneling interior, like maybe paneling.
Yes. Right.
I mean, for a floor, you also need the high quality. But I mean, for paneling and for ceilings, for example, ceiling board. And that's also one thing that we have forgotten as well. It's, as I said, they choose the trees in the forest. This is going to be this. This is going to be that. And I mean, there was really, I mean, how shall I put this? They were, they used the right wood for the right piece. So yes. I mean, for inside, for internal, for paneling, for example, they would never use the best quality of the wood, for example. So, and that's something we also don't do today. We often talk about quality wood, quality wood, quality wood, always. But I mean, everything doesn't have to be the best wood.
No.
I mean, that's also about threshing and take care of the forest. You just cut down the piece you need for that thing.
Yeah.
And the other trees are still there. And also I mean, to make, we use birch, for example, for an axe, shaft for an axe. And in the old days, they go out in the forest and take this birch, and they destroyed it. They cut it in like perpendicular, like this.
Vertically, yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the tree has to repair itself, and then you do it again, and then again, and then again. So, I mean, that piece of wood is going to be so hard.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did this for the next generation. You know, this is you're going to use this for your axe, for example, and this is going. I mean, almost every tree was going to have the purpose now and the next generation.
Yeah. So they would select the various trees, each have a purpose, and it must have been quite challenging to, I suppose, not that challenging to cut the tree down with a big saw, but then once it's down, then what do they do with it? So you've got this whacking great big tree lying in a forest.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
I've been doing that for a couple of times now. We use horses as they did before.
Right.
That's also a thing with today. It's harvesting machines. They destroy everything in their way. You know, everything is mud, and these tracks from the wheels. I mean, they destroy so much, and also they harvest all year around today. But the thing you should do is to cut it in the winter time or close to the springtime, and you use a horse, and they're so strong. I mean, they can pull massive trees. You know, when you see.
Sorry to interrupt, Mats. Explain why they cut them down in the winter.
Yeah, because it's not very. They're dry inside. I mean, it doesn't have any moisture inside of it. It's coming on the spring, you know, when everything is sucking up everything. And I mean, a tree like a birch, for example, which is about this. I mean, it sucks about 200 liters an hour, so it's a lot of water going up in it. and it's really difficult to handle as well. I mean, it's
I
a lot of
see.
weight.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and also
yeah.
also you have the moisture inside, which is going to destroy the tree faster because it's so much moisture inside, and then you get the warmth, and the sun is like this on it, so it's going to be fungus quite quickly on it.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
because in the winter the tree basically goes into pretty much hibernation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it slows right down. It doesn't take up, even if we have a wet winter, it doesn't need to take up so much moisture because it hasn't got leaves to service. You
Yeah.
know, and I know the conifers are evergreens, but everything is sort of just slowing down. So
It's like a
therefore,
bear
yeah, exactly. So that,
going
and
in hide.
then what happens is it doesn't have as much moisture. It's also because it's slowing down. Am I right in saying that it doesn't have as much sugar, which again is attracted, a very attractive substance to wood boring beetles?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's two things. Yeah, I didn't even consider the weight, but the weight must be considerably less if it has less water. And
Yeah.
also the drying purposes, for you to be able to cut it down and then dry it, naturally, but as quickly as you possibly can. Of course, you want as little water in there as possible.
Yeah.
But then the fungi as well that you're saying. So everything, that's fascinating. So they knew that much better to cut down in the winter time because of what we just discussed.
Yeah. And also the horses taking it out, on the snow. It's just more like on the
Yeah.
snow. And then in the springtime, you can't even see that it's been something dragging out trees, because it was snow and icy and just 4 feet, from the horse. So you don't leave any marks. You don't destroy other plants as one of these machines does. But I mean, you should see this.
I can imagine.
As you're saying, I mean, all the sugar and water inside, it's gonna speed up the how the wood, the cut wood, sawn timber. I mean, it doesn't take very long to get this. I mean, you can see for a pang, for example, the heartwood is still perfectly red, and you can see it's really hard, and the sapwood is all green with fungus on it.
I see.
I mean, you can't even use the sapwood. I mean, it's they have been doing tests, if this wood is not as strong as if it would be without fungus.
Okay.
But they can't even they can't say that. But I mean, it's really ugly, But some carpenters think that it's beautiful to have this fungus, and I mean, it's for me, it's a big no-no. And also, when you have cut down the trees in the winter time, you saw it, and then you stack it, and it's going to dry through the summer. It should be like it's a good place for the wind, but not very windy, because then it dries too fast.
Okay.
So it was very important where they put the stacks. So it was.
And did they have a lid? Was it sheltered from the rain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would the tree then come out as one big log towed by the horses, and then immediately cut, or left to dry in its entirety? Or was it then left for a month and then cut, or was it cut straight away? How would they do that?
That's it's really interesting, because normally they cut it and they pull it out of the forest, and they started to saw it.
Yeah, convert it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they left it for a while to saw it, because once again, if it's really dry, it's easier to cut it.
Yeah.
And the saw blades, it doesn't stack, with all this. You say hearts?
Well, it's all the
The resin and
the resin, the sawdust and the resin sort of combines together and makes like a glue, and it clogs all the
it's
saw
clogging.
teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to clean that all the time. Now, when you cut it in the wintertime, you saw it, it's not any problem, and then you stack it. There is also one interesting thing that I actually did last year. I don't have a name for it in English, but sometimes they cut a tree for a pine, for example. They cut a tree and took the branches away and just left the crown. Is that the proper word?
Yeah, yeah.
So all the moisture was sucked up to the crown. So it's get even drier, and you can leave it for a year or two like this. So it gets really dry. And it dries very slow. So you don't have any cracks, anything, Even when you have, if you have sawn the tree and then you stack it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's without cracks. And because it has been drying so slow in the forest, in the protection of all the other trees.
Yeah.
And everything is sucked up to the crown. Is crown the right word? Just the top of it?
Yeah. That's good. That's a good. Yeah. So, let's talk about the conversion, because they would have used saws, but also they would have also split the trees as well. So, can you just take us through those two processes? We can start with splitting, for instance, and why would they split? And as opposed to sawing.
It's I mean, to split it today, you do that when you're going to restore an old building and you want the logs to look as they are made at the same time.
Okay.
But it's also looking new. But I mean, it should be treated and cut and split as they were. And then they do this often in the forest. But otherwise, splitting it today, it's really uncommon. And
but why did they do that back then? Because I know they used to. They used to split them. But I mean, obviously, before the technology of I suppose it's the 19th century kicked in, and we had really good saws. Before that, they would have to split them, wouldn't they? Because
yeah.
So
it's more like medieval, and I mean, there is actually a sawmill in a monastery. They found in a monastery in this cellar, which is from 1550 or something. So it was brand new to me when they started to have sawmills. I don't know how good it is, or it was water driven, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, they were leading the water in to this under the monastery, and they had a sawmill actually in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that wouldn't have been any good to your guy in northern Sweden in a remote part, because obviously they would have had to convert themselves, wouldn't they? How did they used to split the trees? They would have to they'd have to study it and think, right, okay, we need to put. Did they put metal wedges in the end and then keep on bashing it, and then metal wedges in the top, and then find out where the split was going and if it was running properly? A bit like you do. I've got a friend who does traditional hurdles out of chestnut, and he was showing me how you can control the split and the line and making sure that you've got even pieces rather than it running off. So, I mean, that must have been an incredibly, well, again, very, very skillful job.
Oh yeah, it's really hard because I mean, most of the trees has it's been following the sun, so it's twisted like this. And some trees more, and some trees less. And I mean, if they're really twisted, if you have a log which is 6-7 meters long, you should have a tree which is really straight, because
Okay.
otherwise you won't be able to split it the right way, because you split it straight like this. Otherwise you would split it like you're following it around, if you understand, like a spiral.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it should be very straight, and then you try to see if there are any cracks. You look on the end of it, the end of the log, and you see wherever some cracks are, where the center are, and then you take a line.
Right.
You take one of these marking lines and snap it, and then you make a small groove like a V. You chop it with an axe like this all the way through, and then you go and with an axe and make one or two cut in these small cracks you have done, like a V, and then you start to put in wedges. And the wood tree often done by birch, because it's really hard, and it's also important how the wedge is made, the angle on it. And then you just go with these all 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slowly crack it. And while you're cracking it, you can see fibers inside, like it's like a glue, it's small sticks. How should I say? You see the fibers going along with it. Then you cut the fibers also, because otherwise it's going to crack also wrong. So you have to help the tree to split as straight as possible. It's not going to be 100% straight. But if you are careful with all this, you look into the groove that you're cutting to see, okay, I have to help it now to chop this line, to chop this, so it splits very slowly. But also when the tree is fresh, there will quite a lot of moisture in it. It could actually be like you snap the line and you start to make your groove, and then you start cutting with your axe, and then you begin with the wedges, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it just cracks, and yeah. So then you have everything is perfect, and but it's not that common. But you're really happy when you hear
when it
that.
goes well. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. When it goes well, it must be very satisfying.
It's fantastic.
I'm just going to ask you.
Sorry.
No, I'm just going to ask you. You've involuntarily raised your hand, so therefore you've got a little raised hand. So if you unraise your hand, I'm just going to. There we go. We're swapped back now.
I want to say something.
Yeah. That's fascinating. And so the people that cut the tree down, and they're converting it as well, or would it be somebody different? Would that be another job? Do you think?
Usually it's some other one.
Okay.
Sawmill. And also the guys or girls in the sawmill. I mean, they have to have really good skills as well to be able to see, as I said about you choose the tree for this purpose. I mean, what should I get of this log? Yeah. I mean, should I make floorboards, or should I make paneling, or should I make beams? And also then to cut this, it's really an art. It's really an art to do that. And when you should have paneling, for example, or you're making small shingles. Like these are the traditional shingles we have in Sweden. It's a pine shingles, which is about 43 centimeters. It is 43 centimeters.
Okay.
And these ones you lay on the roof like this, and then you go up, you cover it so it's 1/3 left, and then the other one is going up like this.
Okay,
These
and
ones,
are they split? Are they split?
Yeah, they are split.
Okay.
And that's also very important then, to have a log which is straight grown, because you don't want a shingle which is like this, like a propeller. We call it a propeller.
Yes, of course.
Because then it's going to be up like this, and it's coming in, and yeah. So you need a really, really straight log, which is 43 centimeters long, and then you split it in half, and then in a quarter, and then you start to split these ones like this, round like this, and you do that with a knife, like slicing a cheese or something.
Yeah, and it's also that type of converting, splitting a log. You end up with stronger pieces, don't you? Because it's following the natural form of the tree, and all the structural integrity is maintained.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another sort of positive way. The other term is called riving or riven, riving knives, and riven oak and riven pine. So I had some paneling in the workshop only a couple of weeks ago, and some of the panels were riven oak. They were split. It was very early. It was early 17th century. And it's lovely. You can tell that they're riven because you see the fibers and the breakout and the grain. So it's, but obviously very, very labor intensive. And I would imagine that was the early form of converting. And then as soon as the saws came, then people preferred to saw, apart from if it's the shingles and things that really needed to be split, it would then be sawing. And going on to the sawing, converting with a saw, did they cut saw pits to be able to do that? Or how did they do it?
The saw pits are really old. It's one guy is standing in this pit, and another one is standing on the ground, and they have a log, and they have some planks to walk on, and then they were going like this, and they saw this log, and the saw has very it's big teeth on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that way you can make like a 1/2-inch boards if you want to. So then we instead of a pit, you built a sawhorse, like it was about 2 meters high instead for the other guy standing in the pit. It must have been not that funny to be standing in the pit and get all the sawdust, like this. Yeah. But then we built sawhorses. So the lower guy was standing on the ground, and the other one was walking on the sawhorse, and they were still doing like this.
Right.
Splitting the wood, like this. Not splitting. You understand what?
Sawing the wood. Now, here's an interesting one for you. Can you tell, or can one tell the difference between a pit sawn piece of oak and a sawhorn piece of oak or pine? Because if it's on a sawhorse, then aren't they sawing at an angle? They're not sawing at 90 degrees. No, whereas a pit is more, well, it's still not 90 degrees with a pit. What you tell me? What can you tell the difference?
I've been looking at, because I'm really interested in old books as well, how they did it in the past. And even if you see the pit sawing, I've seen so many pictures when it's angled like this, the same way as if you have a sawhorse.
Okay.
And it's also easier to get the cut straight if you angle the saw, because it's going to be very difficult to go like this and follow the line.
Yeah.
Instead of having like this, like
Yes.
you're walking like this in an angle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's so difficult to follow the line. If you get off the line, I mean, you're lost. But it's
Yes.
one thing is interesting with this splitting wood, because they're still building boats in Norway, old boats that have these boards which is twisted. So they want these twisted logs, and
interesting.
they're also splitting this one, and they just go with an axe and make it more flat.
Yeah.
So also to get the best of this is to have, as we say, standing growth rings, because it's going to be lying like this, and it's the strongest thing is with the standing.
Okay. So for our viewers who are listening to this on Spotify or Apple, Mats is just demonstrating with a shingle. So what I'd recommend is probably to catch this on YouTube so you can see, because we're going to get one of Matt's saws out in a minute as well. So that would be good. So this is good. I love this subject.
Me too.
You and I are just, the people that are listening to this that are still with us, what are we now, nearly an hour in?
Yeah.
We'll be laughing, because if they're still with us, they're as nerdy as you and I.
Probably, yes.
There's probably many people that have just thought, yeah, not for me. Guys, you're getting too technical, not for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's carry on, because so sawing, used to saw, then we got the sawhorse. Now, have you tried this? Have you tried it yourself?
Yeah.
In a pit and on a sawhorse?
Not in a pit, but I built a sawhorse from 70, I think it's from 70. I saw a picture on this in this magnificent book by André Jacob Robot, which is he wrote some kind of encyclopedia in 1770. There was a sawhorse, and it was really beautiful, with smooth shapes and round shapes. So I actually copied this one. So we had two of these, and we used to show this when we have this spring fair at the museum I worked. So it's really
lovely.
It's really something gathering people. Wow, what is this?
And obviously, the bigger the sawhorse you make, the bigger the tree that you can put on it. You're going to have to build certain sawhorses for certain sized trees, or not?
I know. I would say no.
I
mean, if you don't have these these chunks from, as you see, from the late 19th century, with the logs, which is 16 meters.
Yeah. But you can do that. And how physical is it?
It's really, really physical, And I would say even if you did this in the past every day, it should have been so hard on your back and your shoulders, because it's a heavy saw, and because it should be like the guy in the pit. He has to help him to push it up, but not very hard, because then he's going to wobble it like this. So
of course, yeah.
So the guy in the top has very much to draw, and they go down and up like this. So it's really, really tiring, And if you do this on a log, for example, which is 5 meters long, you're so tired, you know. You need a week to recover.
Can you imagine, Mats, 200 years ago, you're in a pub in Sweden and you get into an argument with one of these people? It would be bad news, wouldn't it?
I think so.
It would be bad news. Well, it depends. It's depending. If they've just come off, 8 hours of converting into logs, then they may be pretty useless. But
I don't
they
think so. I mean,
they
it was
must have
hard
been
people.
so strong. I mean, it's ridiculous. They must
Yeah.
have had. They must have looked like Popeye, I think.
Yeah, probably, but maybe not on this arm.
The forearm, yeah, the
Yeah,
forearm.
the forearm is going to be the
But
bicep. But I
it's
mean,
always,
the shoulders and the back, there's been
yes,
strong as an ox.
yeah,
So,
and those poor young teenagers would have started young,
yeah,
wouldn't they?
yeah. But it's hard
And
work.
it must have been incredibly difficult. And I wonder how old they could get before they had to stop. Back then, maybe they're stopping in their mid-40s or something because it's just too physical and they're worn out by then.
Probably they did. I don't know, but it sounds reasonable that they can't go on forever. I mean, if you look at lumberjacks going with just a chainsaw today, I mean, they last something like, I mean, when they are 50, they're quite
Yes,
worn down.
they've all got back problems and shoulder problems, haven't they?
Back problem and shoulders.
Yeah. But so going back again, I'm still sort of a couple of 100 years ago. They're converting the logs, they're sawing them, and I wonder. It's difficult to say, but I wonder what the moisture content would have been once they had put the planks in stick to dry, naturally dry. What's your guesstimate?
It would be because I do it today, and the moisture content would be if you cut it in wintertime, it could actually be something like 25%. And then you dry it. Yeah, then you dry it down. Yeah, then you dry it down to 14, 15 to be able to use it outside. But if you cut a tree in the springtime or in the beginning of the summer, I mean, it's going to be 45% or something. It's 40%.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And that's why they have to dry it mechanically today, because they can't wait for it to air dry naturally.
No. So the thing is that, again, it's one of these reasons why we are blessed with lots of heritage woodwork that's survived, is because of the quality of the timber, slow grown, the way it was expertly selected, the way it was expertly converted and then dried. And then obviously when they constructed, they were highly skilled as well. But that's the reason, isn't it? If we were trying to reproduce that these days with the techniques that we have, the modern cheat techniques that we have, that they wouldn't last for 50, 60 years, let alone 300, 400 years. And then on top, which we'll catch up on another episode, but on top of that, the coatings that they were putting, all these natural coatings and pine tars and linseeds and things like that, again, it's just like this perfect product, wasn't it? It was just an incredibly perfect product from the start to finish.
And I mean, if you have this really, really good heartwood, slow-grown heartwood, they were used for windows, for example, the windows. And it became, I mean, in 1700, it became more like you have to have color on your house. Everyone had silver colored log houses, for example. They wanted to put on color on it. But if you produce a window today with the same wood as they used to be, I mean, you can't I mean, it's not protection. The color will not be a protection, you know. And the linseed oil is penetrating the wood to protect it. But if you have these kind of wood, the slow grown, I mean, it's nothing. You can't. It doesn't suck up anything, you know.
Ah, I
Because
see.
all these resins. I mean, it's like fat, you know. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
left, yeah, the newly produced windows. You had to let it be for a couple of years before you had paint on it or oil on it, because otherwise it's like it's running off, you know. Then
Oh, how interesting. So it would lose its, let's say, its resin oil sort of properties, and
yes,
then you could paint it.
yeah. It's the same with
Oh,
metal sheets. Now, for example, for roofing, they have a thin coating on them, and if you want to paint this, for example, you have to wait a couple of years. So this thin coating is gone.
mm,
Then you can start
mm,
to paint it, because it's impossible to paint on this coating that they
yeah,
have today.
yeah.
So yeah,
So we've covered the conversion, and then let's get into the selection for building,
yeah,
general joinery, doors and windows, of flooring. So the obviously back then, again, a couple of 100 years ago, everything's done by hand, and there would have been, I suppose, it would have been a carpenter slash joiner in those times, rather than now. We sort of, there's a difference, isn't it? But carpenters doing sort of the bulky work and the framework, and then the joiner does the interior, the windows, the doors and stairs, that type of thing. But I suppose back then it would have been a carpenter sort of slash joiner would have then bought the wood from the wood yard once it's seasoned down to, I don't know, 14-15% possibly, depending on what it's going to be used for, and then takes it to the workshop and uses hand tools to
yeah,
produce
yeah,
this amazing.
yeah.
It's great. And but Mats, did they, when they converted the wood, let's say when they've sawn the wood, obviously the carpenter joiner has to select. It has to be almost standardized, because they didn't have a planer thicknesser back in those days. So therefore they would have to, you know, certain sections for a window would be certain dimensions that they could then choose, because the
Mhm.
last thing they want to be doing is sawing it themselves to get the right thickness or
Mhm.
width, for instance.
Yeah,
So maybe they converted the timber with the joiner, obviously with the joiner and carpenter in mind, and think, great, this section is for seals, this one is for window boards, this one is for rails and stiles. Is that what happened back
yeah.
then?
Yeah. That's my theory as well. Theory, I mean, I've been reading so much about this, and sometimes it contradicts. So it's difficult to know that. I mean, I never say like, no, you didn't do that, because I mean, next year you're going to find something, some evidence
Yeah.
showing that they actually did this way, or some of the people did it this way. So it's difficult to say exactly how they did, but I mean, since 1700, they mass they mass produced windows and glasses, uh, window glass, for example, and lead sheets, uh, and they mass produced everything, you know. So, but I mean, they saw it down, so they had maybe a couple of millimeters, 2 millimeters left, and then they planed it.
Okay.
But they actually had planing planing machines drawn by hand, of course, in 1700.
Did
And,
they? Tell me about that. How did they work?
They were they had knives like this, like a modern planer, you know, and they were having what do you call it, like this?
Yeah, a winch type of thing.
Yeah, a winch like this, back and forth. So I've just seen a drawing of how it looked. So I would love to see one in reality. I think it is one in the States, in a museum, but I'm not sure. I've heard it, so I would love
It
to
must
see.
have been on some sort of cog system then to be able to build up enough speed and power.
It's a small one, actually. What I could figure out, it's like it's I mean 1.5 meters long.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't actually know exactly how it works, but I've seen these what do you call it? Swivel? No,
The winch. Yeah, but it must have been
winch.
it must have been some sort of gearing system
Yeah,
to be able to get the power.
get the speed up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, get the speed up and the power to be able to drive
Yeah.
it. God,
But
that's
on
fascinating.
yeah, but on this drawing, it's really difficult to see, because you need the order, or the first print of this book, to be able
Oh, got you.
to see the details,
Yes.
because the details on the first print, I mean, it's copper plates and then printed. It's I mean, the printing technique on. I have one edition which is from 1975 or something, about this robot, l'art de menuisier, the carpenter's the art of the carpenter. The printing there is so bad, so I mean, some of the pictures, it's difficult. Oh my God, what is this? But the first printing, I've seen some of the pictures from the first. I actually have some of the they selling pages from these books. So they slaughter the books and they sell pages on eBay. Quite expensive.
Oh,
Yeah. So I actually have some of these pages from the first printing,
right.
just to slaughter this book. I mean, yeah, it's done, so I buy it.
Yeah. Now
But it's
I've
the
got.
detailing. So
I'm
the
gonna.
detailing is difficult to understand how it really
Yeah.
works.
Now I got something for you. This is again on sawing timber. Now, when one of the projects I worked on at Kensington Palace was to survey the cornice in the Queen's Gallery, and the cornice and paneling was installed by Sir Christopher Wren in 1690, I think, 1690 maybe, around about that time. And I was fascinated, Mats, because when we were inspecting the back of the cornice, the saw marks were identical to a bandsaw, identical. You'd really look at that and say, well, that's machine sawn, it's band sawn. So my question to you, and you may or may not know this, is what type of saw did they have back in 1690s to be able to produce such precise, the lines were so perfectly precise along each side, and there was no wobble or anything. It looked just like it had come off a modern bandsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know anything about that and how that was possibly produced, that piece of wood?
On the back, did you see any saw marks?
No, it looks like it's absolutely come straight off a bandsaw, perfect sawing, but it's not. It's original to 1690, absolutely 100%. So, yeah, and so whether that was some sort of, again, water-driven type bandsaw, or whether it was on a pulley, a sort of a winching gearing system as well, but it was perfect.
Yeah. Because there's something called a frame saw.
Yes.
And I know it's really old, and the blade is going like this. So we see in buildings from let's say 1600, 1700, you can see these marks like this when it's cutting.
But isn't that in a sort of a roundish type of cut?
Oh, it's
No,
straight
it's
one.
dead straight. Dead straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also had quite early. They had more. They had saw blades, like 10 of them.
Yes.
So they got 10 of the boards from one log, going like this.
But
and
with
it
the
was
framing,
water driven. And then
okay,
they used steam and then electricity.
see, I'm wondering if it's something like that, because a framing saw, I thought that was by hand, but are you saying that a framing saw could also be driven by water as well?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's what it would have been. I'm just so interested with that.
Yeah. Maybe you should have because I have videos about this. In Norway, for example, they're restoring some of these frame saws.
Okay.
And at the museum where I worked, we had a frame saw from 1700. We restored that, but we didn't get to I started to work with the water wheel because it was really damaged. The whole frame saw has been sunk down in the mud, so we had to raise everything up and make new sills. And one of the water wheels, the one further down, it was in the mud, so it was all rotten. So I started to make a new water wheel just before I left this museum. And that had just one blade, and a long sleigh with a log was going like this. So the transporter, the sled, was driven by the same as a saw blade was going down. It's tick, tick, tick. That's also why you can see the marks. The marks straight, perpendicular.
Yes.
Like but maybe they had something which, I mean, the saw marks is there because it's as modern saws also. They're the teeth are, what you call that? Can you
offset.
see?
Offset.
Yeah, offset.
Offset.
It's offset. Yeah. But for a Japanese saw, for example, they don't have any offsets when they're cutting their wood. And I mean, maybe these saws that you saw on the paneling didn't have these offsets, because maybe it was if it's sawn when it's really dry, for example, you can saw with a blade which is not offset, it's straight, but you don't use straight blades today because it's so it's likely that it's when you have sawed, it's going in like
it will
pinching.
Pinching.
Pinching. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you saw it dry and your choice of the wood is really, really careful selected, so it doesn't have this tension inside. I mean, maybe then they had a saw without the offset.
Yeah.
To make it, I mean, you understand? Maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Instead of having these offset saws.
All right. Now, just going on to, let's say that the carpenter joiner has bought the timber from the timber yard. What's the first thing they have to do? Do they have to then dress one side with an axe or an adze? Because, you know, the boards, some of them wouldn't have been absolutely perfectly. They might be slightly wedged. They might be just slightly different. You know, they would have to do something. Would they start dressing the surface with an adze and an axe, and, you know, or would they not? But if they did, how would they go about doing that?
And I mean, planing has been, it's thousands of years. I think the oldest plane they have found is around, I think it's before Christ, you know. So planing has been around for a long time, but the blade wasn't straight. So if you look at old floorboards, for example, or ceilings, you see it's not 100% flat. It's a little bit like this, like small grooves.
Yes.
I mean, as straighter blade they could do, the straighter it was also the surface, of course. But in the old days, they would use an adze.
To take the worst of it, they'd use an adze. Let's say they had a really thick board and they needed to reduce it by a third.
Yeah.
They're not going to plane it, are they? They're going to use an adze to get rid of the majority.
The majority goes with an axe or an adze.
And tell us what the difference is between an adze and an axe.
An adze is something you go with like this.
Okay.
I have one.
He's off. He's off.
It's going like this with a stick on it.
Going yep. Okay.
On towards you.
Yes.
And then, you know, you chop like this. Otherwise, that's that way, or you go or this.
Okay.
Adze is more like you're standing on the board, for example, and
that's right, and you're cutting towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why would you use an adze over an axe and vice versa? You know,
you can get a much finer surface with an adze if you can, because if you're really good in controlling it, it's a thinner and more elegant tool. These axe, these adze instead of an axe, and also you don't an axe. You need the power because it's heavier. Also, you need the power, and then it's really difficult to get in the same stroke as the other one because you want it flat. So it's difficult with an axe. Otherwise, the axe is so heavy, so it's going to exaggerate. It's going like this. An adze you're having downwards, and you just use it as a pendulum. You call it pendulum?
Yeah. But the axes, were they straight blades, or did they sometimes have curved blades?
Sometimes, they're all sorts of axes, which is it's round on one side and straight on the other side.
Yeah.
They're like this. I mean, you have all different shapes and also sizes of them. I mean, some of the axes from a German axis could be something like 50 centimeters blade on them, but traditionally our axis is smaller. I mean, the edge is about 15 centimeters maximum, they say.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so difficult to explain this. It's so easy to show.
Yes. Yeah. And then, so we've taken the majority off with the adze or an axe, depending on what they've chosen. And then we use a plane. And what type of plane would you choose?
There actually could be one more step.
Okay.
Between the splitting and the chopping of the majority. And then you go with...
Oh, he's off again. He's off. The hair is off and running.
Like this.
Oh, yeah. And what's that called, Mats? What's that called?
It's a shave. It's the
Spoke
closest
shave.
thing. It's a spoke shave,
Yeah,
but
spoke shave.
it's more rough. And this one,
Ah, rough work. Yep.
yeah. If you see, can
It's
you see the?
convex. Yeah, it's a convex blade.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these blades are always a little bit convex like this.
Yes.
And this tool has been since Middle Ages. This one is a little bit more designed by me, but this one you can get really good surfaces, flat
Yes.
surfaces. And after this one, you go on with the plane, because otherwise you have all these hills and tops and hills, you know.
Yeah, you have a scalloping type of effect.
Yeah.
So on that point then, when I've looked at some of the backs of panels, it has that scalloping type of effect. Would that have been created with a spoke shave, or would it possibly been created with a scrub plane that also has a convex blade?
Yeah.
Or both?
I would say that this one, as you are talking about, it's a plane. It's a scrub plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did they choose to have a convex blade and a scrub plane? What was the reason for that?
It's actually about the same today, because if you have a straight edge, the straight edge, you have sharp edges.
Yes.
You're going to leave marks. You're going to leave these small marks.
Yes.
From the blade.
Yep, like a tram line.
Yeah. So if either you have a blade which is a little bit convex, to eliminate these.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's easier then to plane and not get these tracks.
Okay.
So what I do today also, which is, I think I teach this when I have sharpening courses, for example. I take off a little bit of the edges. I round the edges of a plane iron to also eliminate the tracks. No, you had a name for it.
The tram lines. I call them
tram lines. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite good actually, just to round off the sharp edges on a plane.
All right, but then if you wanted to create, let's say, a flat surface, then what tool are you using? Once you've used your scrub plane, and then you've still got these slight sort of this scalloping effect with the scrub plane, then how are you producing this flat surface?
It would be like with a scraper. It's called. It's quite a heavy steel blade, which is 100% straight, and then you use it like.
He's off.
I'm off.
We're getting another tool. Yeah. So okay, this is the problem is with a lot of pine, it doesn't scrape.
No, that's true. But as usual, if you choose the right wood, slow grown, and also if you have the growth rings standing up, then it's really more. Then you're going to have a straight surface actually. But if it's the growth rings are horizontal, is that, as you say, it's not going to be that good.
But that would be the case for paneling. Let's say we wanted to get a nice flat panel, and it's Scots pine, and we are getting technical. But for those people listening in who haven't got a clue what we're talking about, so Mats was showing a cabinet scraper, which you sharpen by putting a burr on. It's a special technique how you do it with the back of a gouge chisel, and you put this burr on the cabinet scraper, and you basically put pressure and bend the cabinet scraper slightly and push it forward, and that produces a lovely sharp shaving. It's a really good way of doing it. Now, it's very easy to do it on a hardwood like mahogany and oak, But when it comes to pine, because pine's soft and it's got that sort of pithy type texture to it, it doesn't cut through on the same way.
No.
So
No.
I'm interested in how they produced, if they couldn't scrape that flat panel, let's say it's a panel, 400 by 600, how do they do that? How do they do that?
Probably with a plane.
Okay. And then that would be a plane without the convex blade. It would have to be probably.
It's a wider one, and I found that on some plane irons that just the sharp edges is a little bit rounded.
Yeah.
And
okay.
The blade could be 3 inches wide.
And as we're on the topic of this, because then we can get this whole process done of how it goes from adzing to spoke shaving to planing, scraping. Then what type of abrasives were around? Again, let's say 200, 300 years ago, because then you've got a planed finish, which can be nice, but however, you've got to use an abrasive just to get that final smoothness of the surface. And
like
before
sanding.
sanding, before sandpaper was invented, and I don't even know when sandpaper was actually invented, but it must have been a 19th century thing, I believe. They used to use sort of shark skins and fish skins, didn't they, years ago?
Yeah, they did. But just sandpaper, I haven't a clue when it came.
No.
It's often earlier than you think. Yeah.
But let's say, for instance, in Sweden, what were they using as an abrasive? Were they using...
What year are we talking about?
Let's go back to sort of 300 years. So let's go back to the sort of 17th to the start of the 18th century. And I'm interested in how they're getting those panels flat to be able then to take a painted, linseed paint or a varnish or something like that.
But is it a softer sanding surface on these, or is it just...
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm talking about quite a soft surface because I'm thinking about a Scots pine panel, for instance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really not sure.
We'll have to look into that one, Mats, because it's
Oh yes.
We're just fascinated by these early techniques, and a lot of this isn't actually recorded. That book is great that you're mentioning, and some of this got some fantastic knowledge in there, but a lot of this stuff just wasn't passed down, was it? And we're now in 2025 trying to unpick everything and find out how these things were done.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really fascinating subject. Now, look, I'm not sure how you are for time because we've been going an hour and 30 minutes.
I have to go.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So what we'll do, this has been so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely so good.
Always.
And now it's great. And as I said in my introduction, we're definitely going to have another follow-up because we've literally, we've covered the forest, the conversion, and now we're in the joinery and carpentry workshop scenario. And we've just been talking about how we're prepping wood to be able to then go on to construction and then using the tools to how we construct a window and how we drill the holes out and the drawer tenons. And there's all sorts we can talk about, isn't there, in the next one. So
maybe I can show some hands-on also. I don't know if we talk
maybe. Well, what I am going to be doing is definitely going to do some type of masterclass video, and that will be recorded. So we'll definitely do something like that, because the difficult with this is that some people are listening on YouTube, some people are listening on Spotify and Apple. So obviously the video wouldn't come out very well on Spotify. But before we finish, where can people find out more about you and your work? You do a lot of Instagram, don't you, and LinkedIn and that type of thing. Where's the best place to follow you and what you're up to?
The best way is to follow my Instagram.
Okay.
But it's this and that on it. But I'm going to have more of the woodwork, But
Okay.
if you go into the feed, you're going to see a lot of the woodwork, as I do. But Instagram is the place where you
Okay.
can see my work.
Yeah, brilliant. And we'll put that link in the show notes.
Yep.
So people can, connect with you there. And yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on things. I may be having a trip to Sweden this year or next year. We don't know yet, but that's possibly in the pipeline as well. So if that happens in August, maybe August, yeah. So if we can make that happen, then we're definitely going to be doing some videos, and there'll be a lot of stuff out there. So everybody listening to this, yeah, just keep your eyes peeled, because there'll be lots on Mats, but we'll definitely get you back for another episode. And yeah, it's been great, Mats. I've loved it. I hope it hasn't been too techie for all of you out there. Some people are saying, yes, it's way too techie. No, they've probably left already, but there'll be others going, we'll love it.
As my daughters, they left, 2 minutes. So.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's also difficult to because it's in English. All these terms is.
Oh, you're fantastic at it. I mean, my goodness.
Bear with me.
My goodness. Hat off to you, sir. My hat is coming off.
Thank you. So
Right.
much.
Okay. So thanks again, Mats. And yeah, it's been fascinating. I love it. And I knew I would. So.
Yeah. Love speaking to you, Vinny.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, we'll catch up very soon.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.